So yeah, we covered the water, we covered the lights, we covered the automation part. The yield part is absolutely amazing. I have some stats here just to compare. So to grow food on a normal farm, you would need you could let's say you're farming lettuce on a normal standard farm. You could grow 4 kilograms per square meter of ground. On a vertical farm, you could get up to between 80 and 120 kilograms of lettuce per year per square meter. So that's
Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
1 square meter of land uses usually 1,000 liters of water to produce those 4 kilograms of lettuce. Here you need 1 liter of water.
That's just stunning to think, like 1,000 liters of water.
Yes.
For 4 lettuces.
Yeah. No, not 4 kg of lettuce. Yeah.
4 kilograms. Sorry. Yeah. But I mean, depending on what lettuce you're growing, it could be 4 lettuces. That's just
the main problem is that the water kind of falls through the ground, and all the rain that we're getting is basically going through the top part where we need the water and the earth to be moist for the plants to be able to absorb it. But actually, in a short period of time, all the water drops down into the inner earth where, like there's rocks and underground rivers and underground lakes where basically nobody has any use of it, So
it rejoins the hydrological cycle eventually.
Of course, but it takes it 16 years to get back to the sea, to evaporate, and the cloud to come back over your piece of land to get it. Here we do it in a matter of no time. And one more thing that is like a huge benefit for vertical farms is that by optimizing this whole process, they are able to decrease the time it takes to grow the plants. So not only are you getting more yield, you're getting it faster. They're decreasing it sometimes for some cases by months. For some of it, it's like 10 to 20 days. But basically, since you have them in optimum conditions, you don't have 3 months of farming, you have 365 days of farming. So that's
because it can be springtime all the time if you
it's all
calibrate
the time.
Your lighting
right. Time.
Wow.
And tracking everything, that's also huge. But going back to our versus model here between the old school farm and the vertical farm is the amount of miles that it takes for a product farmed in a regular farm to reach your table or the end consumer. For a regular vegetable, it would be around 2,000 miles would be the average. So we all know that cities are growing bigger and bigger, and the nearest farm, some people living like in Shanghai or New York don't see a farm in their whole lifetime. There's farm tourism where people from big cities are taken out to a farm, and then they for the first time see animals and green all around them, and they say like, oh wow, I couldn't even imagine it. So this is a real problem that's occurring. Vertical farms,
which by the way is a completely alien thought for someone from Ireland.
Yeah. Croatia as well. So basically, vertical farms are mostly done and built in cities because that's where this problem occurs. The main problem that people have in their nutrition today is that when you go into a large supermarket, you can buy 2 paprikas for like €3 or $3, and then you go to McDonald's and you buy a burger for $1. And that's a huge problem because people are going for the fast food that's not healthy, because getting the food that's nutrient rich and healthy and doesn't have any pesticides and that it's like good for you takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to bring it there. So the average miles that food from vertical farms has to cover to get to the end consumer or the supermarket is 43 miles compared to the 2,000 miles. And I'm saying this because that's the average number. So some plants need to travel for around 4,000 miles to get to the end consumer. And here we're losing a lot of benefits that vegetables and fruits have.
Because they're aging as they travel as well as anything else.
Exactly that. You remember when you go to the supermarket and let's say you want to buy bananas, they are basically still not ripe and they're farmed that way. So because they know that they need a lot of time to get to your plate, right? Here, vertical farms are embracing the farm to plate or farm to fork model where you literally decrease the amount of time it takes from manufacturing process to go to the consumption process as clean as viable as possible, so those are some
so
huge
they can
benefits.
Stay on the plant to ripen rather than ripening on the port side or in the supermarket.
Exactly. And one more thing that they do here is the problem with GMO. Well, a lot of people say GMO is good because they cross genes of tomatoes with genes of rats, because rats are very resilient. And then you get a tomato that can be in a warehouse for like 6 months and nothing happens to it. But when you get it on your plate, it feels plastic. It doesn't have any taste and it feels empty. Like there's no nutrients in it. Here, what they're doing with vertical farming is basically because they don't need to leave it ripen in some storehouse. They really ripen it in the optimum environment. And what I mentioned before is they can manipulate light to increase flavor. For example, you can get something that's a lot more tasty than something that you would buy from a farm that's, like 10 days away. So we will probably, as a result of vertical farming, have tastier vegetables. And I think that because of this, we might see a huge boom in this like vegetable craze where more people are like really loving them, because when you ask little kids, like, why don't you eat your vegetables? Like they don't like them because they don't taste good, because you give them candy and chocolate and then they're like, their mouth is just like full of taste, and then they get spinach and then they're like, what's this? Like, what's going on here? Where's the taste? Where's the flavor? So I'm sure that vertical farming will solve that as well. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the full version, go to the Uncle Gold Podcast YouTube channel or watch the next clip.